Good morning, I am Tori. If you do not know, we are going to do a little bit of a wake and bake sesh today. So if you want to smoke a blunt with me and kind of chit chat, go ahead and stick around. Oh my goodness, it's snowing outside. So I got my blunt in here. I rolled it last night. I figured we'd just go ahead and spark up and just kind of chit chat about how this good old herb has helped me. Go ahead and get into it. Cheers, y'all. I'll have to show you guys the snow. If I showed you guys right now, there would be people like, that's like mist. It's not even snow. They're like flurries, and I've been waiting for this since Christmas. My first time ever smoking. I was a sophomore in high school. It was with my boyfriend at the time. He had gotten like a gram or two, like $20 for it. He's like, hey, I don't have a pipe or anything. We'll just use this water bottle. Everyone knows the water bottle. And I ripped a water bottle outside a window. And that was the first time I ever smoked weed. I had smoked, I think, one or two hits off of it. I swore I didn't feel anything. He was the one that actually told me that a lot of people don't feel it their first time. I want to say maybe like a month later with him and another couple and a friend of mine that I had played sports with and stuff. And I felt it a little bit more, but it just got stronger each time. Like, it's like my body wasn't knowing what to look for in the high. So it really did just make me feel more relaxed. The first time I didn't actually feel high. I swore I didn't feel anything the entire time. I actually did not smoke it often. Those were kind of only 2 times I ever smoked in high school. I was involved in a lot of sports and stuff, so I wasn't really allowed to be smoking or be doing any of that. I was constantly getting pulled to be drug tested because I was involved in those activities. So yeah, I only smoked those 2 times in high school. So I stopped by my junior year. I don't think I smoked again. College, didn't smoke, didn't drink, worked out a lot. And by the time I got to like my second semester of sophomore year of college, I had decided to go to a party at another college nearby, and I had got high, okay? But here's the deal. I didn't just smoke any bong or just any rig. I smoked a bong and a blunt out of a mystery machine. They had a Scooby-Doo painted mystery machine. I don't think it drove. It just had a bunch of seats in the back where everyone just sat and hotboxed it. It was the coolest experience. I only did that one time at the party. Didn't smoke again really until later that semester, and then I didn't really stop smoking since. After that, like, few months of guilt of feeling like, man, should I have even smoked? Like, I feel like I'm a bad person. It wasn't even the fact that I felt like I was a bad person. It was the fact that I was worried what people were gonna think. I just didn't really get into drinking until later in my college years. By the end of my second semester of sophomore year, I kind of got into the drinking and the smoking. Gained a little bit of weight with both of that. Once my junior year came around, I drank quite a bit, smoked also. I lived with a bunch of friends in college. We had our own place. We had like 4 guys that lived above us, and there's 3 of us girls that lived below. So we all would go party. We'd have parties at our house. It was really fun. I had moved out of that house because our lease was up. I was living by myself. And that's when I pretty much stopped drinking completely. I really just had weed. Not only was I alone, but I also had to send my dog home because I had gotten Kobe around the time I was living with all my friends in that other house. I was taking over my brother's lease so he could come home. It was a long story, but to save my mom money and essentially save me a little bit of money too, I took over my brother's lease. Well, in the long run, I had to send my dog to live with my parents for a few months because that apartment complex was no animals allowed. I was smoking a little bit more weed because I wasn't drinking anymore and I was lonely. I was getting anxiety from just going to work because I was working a lot. I had 3 different jobs. Now keep in mind, like, I think 2 of them were part-time jobs, but still it was a lot of alone time in my head. There was nights I wasn't sleeping. It was a lot of stress. I was missing my family. I was missing my friends. I was missing my support dog. I decided after that summer, I'm going to move home. I actually had a couple sick family members at the time too. My grandpa had gotten sick and my mom was also sick. So it kind of worked out to where I got to come home, spend some time with them. It was nice to be there for my mom and for my family as well, especially like my dad and my sister that were there with her, taking care of her and all that good stuff. Since then, my mom is healthy, so thank the Lord. I got into drinking a little more again. When I moved back home, started hanging out with friends. I don't want to say I got into drinking. I was like 22, 23. So I was still going out to the bars, having a drink on Friday or Thursday night. If it was $1 beer night, just the usual. Let me spark this up because it went out on me. I got to start hanging out with more of my hometown friends. They were also more into the herb than drinking. Now, did they drink? Yes, of course. They were the ones that went to the bar with me, but it was kind of just a phase in our life, It wasn't like we preferred drinking over weed. If we were all just trying to relax or just wanted to stay in, we would just roll 2 blunts, sit around a campfire and smoke. And those were my favorite moments, honestly. Been smoking weed since I started posting on my Snap story around like 2017, 2018 too, when I was in college. That's when I had my private Snap story. So if you do not follow me, definitely go add me on Snapchat. Around that time, I had gone back home though, smoking a little more weed here and there. That's when it also started to become more open and legalized at the state level, in our state anyways. So they started actually giving my grandpa CBD. It was just at the time where doctors were starting to kind of low-key recommend this, especially the CBD side of marijuana. It was about a year after I had moved back home. One of my New Year's resolutions was not to drink, so I actually didn't drink at all. I think maybe I had like a little bit of communion at church or something, but you know what I mean? Like I just didn't have a beer or nothing. I would tell people I didn't drink and I would just smoke. It was the one thing that I enjoyed and it made me feel like shit in the morning. Kind of got in a bad relationship. I wasn't doing very good. I decided to cut out drinking completely because it was really messing with my mental health. Weed helped me kind of get through it, so I started picking up the weed use a little bit more. And then I cut back on that because I thought, well, maybe weed is, even though it's helped me. I wanted to cut everything out and just kind of get to the root of the problem. So I even cut out weed and I tried everything. And that's when I finally had a breakdown, had my breaking point, and I went to the psychiatrist, mental health clinic. Super blessed that I did go when I went. I had people I could talk to. And you like this again. Got the help I needed, which was great. I enjoyed the fact that I was able to talk to someone because sadly at the time I wasn't really comfortable talking to my family and stuff. But I did feel like they were just so quick to put me on a medication. And sadly, in my case, they didn't just put me on one. When they put me on these, it didn't just change my mental health. I was now starting to feel like crap. I was getting upset stomachs. I was just having no motivation to even get up. I was just almost having more depressive thoughts, just really, really bad time. My psychiatrist had told me that it may take a few weeks to get used to, so I gave it the 3-week time to kind of get my medication on track, and it just wasn't helping. So she changed it up a bit. I kind of mentioned in my other video, but she did mention there could be an allergic reaction to them. That all drugs have a different side effect. Those are technically what they would consider an allergic reaction. So she went ahead and switched me to a whole different class of drugs because the one I was essentially under was giving me side effects. So she got me on what I thought was working, and it was working. I was on it on my medication when I met Luke. It helped me be able to go out in public with him, be able to even come down, and honestly, I probably wouldn't have even moved down here if it wasn't for it. I got to the point where I was feeling like I was needing the medication. I was almost having hangover effect from not taking it if I missed a day or two, and I hated that. I hated the dependency of it. Weed doesn't make me feel dependent. Like, yes, I want it, but if I'm without it, I'm not dying. Now, if I'm going through an anxiety attack or I'm being very stressed, I'm going to want to go get this blunt. It's no different than having a medication for it. To be able to have one natural herb replace all those pills was the best decision I ever made. It honestly made me realize I don't care what anyone ever says about this. I know what it's done for me, and I know what the Bible says. I've read in the Bible, and it says just stay sober-minded. It says not to be drunk. Don't be a drunkard. I think a lot of people miss that. My experiences with it and being able to live my life normally again. Riley, go out there, they're gonna chew on your bone. She's so loud with that bone. So yeah, I feel like as long as you're obeying God first, loving yourself, and then loving others, not to mention weed makes me want to do that. I don't see the issue, you know what I mean? Riley, I'm taking this away for now. Sorry, you're loud, I can't. Take her phone away, she's being way too loud in my ear. Long story short, over the years, it has helped me. There's times when I felt like I couldn't go out in public to my family gatherings. I was just struggling mentally. What helped me was my brother and I smoking a J before we went. Now that being said, do I still enjoy a good blunt just to enjoy on my day off? Weed is no different than someone going and shopping online and spending a bunch of money because it makes them feel good inside. It's that dopamine you're looking for, and anything will give that to you, just like anything can become addicting. Everything in moderation. When I'm not smoking weed or I'm on my other medications, I'm constantly worrying still about progress. I'm constantly worrying about my job. I'm constantly worrying about my family life. I'm constantly worrying about things still, even though I may be on other medications. With weed, it has brought me closer to God. It has brought me closer to my faith. It really puts me in the moment to not stress about the things around me and be like, I need to just focus on praying to God. God will heal. God will open doors. God will provide. God will do anything you need Him to do. And the best way I can explain it is that the weed has helped take away a little bit of my fear. I don't want to say remove it. It's taken the fear I had from other things and put it for the fear in the Lord, which I don't see how that could be a bad thing. You know, we should all fear the Lord. We should all want to do good by Him. I feel like weed has just helped me really live out not only my purpose, but help me live out my calling every day and what God is calling me to do every day. It helps me think clearly in those moments and not be so blinded by everything else and everyone's thoughts around me. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my little take. Yeah, I just wanted to put a little quick video out there for you guys, and I hope you all are enjoying the rest of your break or those day or two back at work. But I figured we'll go ahead and end this on a a lot of people say, oh, it's bad for you. It's the devil's lettuce. It helps grow my faith, okay? In the Lord. I just hate when people say that weed's addicting because it's not. It's just one of those things that you realize the more you use it, it does have more benefits. And the same with any medication, the more frequently you use it, you know, I don't want to say more frequently because you don't want to use it often, but like if you're taking your dose every day like you should, it helps a lot. For me, when I first started using it, I would only take it at night because I really just needed it for my sleep. So I would just take it at night, take it at night, take it at night because I was kind of interlocking weed with my other medications. Finally, I got to the point where I was able to wean off all my other medications and just stick to the one herb, which I do not look back at all because when I tell you I feel so much better, not just mentally, but physically by not being on those chemicals, because I don't know what's in those. I know what's in this bud, especially when you get it from a dispensary. Like, you know what's in it. Remember, no one's opinion matters but God's and your own. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel good. And who gives a shit about what anyone else thinks? Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, bye.